You know, everything I do is for my father, for my mother, my parents. I'm not gonna let them down. I'm not gonna let my ancestors down, and I'm not gonna let the future generation of Latinos in cinema.
And you're doing it. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real interview. And yes, you heard that correctly. Another real interview. God is so good. I'm grateful for the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with actor Diego Tinoco ahead of his new film, Knights of the Zodiac, which hits theaters right here in the United States this weekend. I'll be having my full review of the film up tomorrow, so you're not going to want to miss out. Go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell, y'all, and hit the thumbs up button for more interviews just like this, because slowly but surely, all of your support is helping me get to a point where Real James is in some real interviews, and I can't wait to get into more of these junkets, one-on-one interviews, heck, two-on-ones. Let's do it. Give me all the talent. Alrighty, y'all. Well, I don't want to keep talking, of course, but I do want to know in the comments, how familiar are you with Knights of the Zodiac? It's based on a late 80s manga called Saint Seiya. That's very, very big in Japan, and of course, in South America, from what I've heard. So I'm really excited to get into this interview. Diego does drop some amazing sound bites for you, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the interview as well. Alrighty, y'all, I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna get right into this interview. Yes. All right, Diego, well, thanks so much for taking time to speak with me today. It's a pleasure to see you, and I just watched the movie yesterday. I will say, though, Nero, your armor is my favorite in the movie. Yeah. I'm not trying to be biased, but it was so sick, and the reveal in the third act was awesome.
Thank you so much, man. I've been saying that. It was really heavy, so maybe that's why it looks so cool. But that's awesome, James. Thank you, man. That's really cool.
I will say, just to get started, I didn't know anything about Knights of the Zodiac heading into it, and I don't know how familiar you were with the source material, but I only knew what I read on Wikipedia. But getting into the role of Nero and just understanding this world, how familiar were you with the source material and the character of Nero?
You know, I wasn't too familiar with this anime as a whole, but I mean, man, I'm Latino, man, so I grew up with like Dragon Ball Z every night on Cartoon Network. You got Goku fighting Majin Buu, you know what I'm saying? Like Gohan battling Cell. So I grew up with that, and man, the whole anime culture is so interesting and so fascinating, and they're so passionate, right? I mean, you got the Naruto fans, you got the One Piece fans, and you got the Zodiac fans who are primarily bigger in South America, Mexico, Japan. But man, what's really interesting to me is once you start watching anime, you start seeing that it's more than just these animated characters. I mean, every character carries a really incredible story with impactful messages that will leave you motivated and inspired. So yeah, I mean, I might even say that I like anime more than I like real movies.
I love that. And one thing about the film itself, though, and I think it's so unique to this medium, is there's always a central message in any anime. So in the live-action film in Knights of the Zodiac, I noticed the central theme was having a lot of power and strength internally that you didn't know you had until someone else saw it in you. So for you in your career, who's been that person that saw something in you that you didn't see yourself and pushed you just to get to where you're at?
My parents, man. My father, my mother. I think my father, mostly. I moved to Los Angeles at 18 years old, straight out of high school. At no, fancy college degree or nothing, but a dream, really, right? And I remember my first day moving there. Man, I remember bawling my eyes out. I remember crying. I was like, what did I just do? I just ruined my life. I'm gonna lose my girlfriend, my friends back home, and all this stuff. I was a kid, right? And then I remember hopping on the phone with my dad, and my dad being like, hey, you got this, all right? You got this. And then he said, if you want to come back, it's fine. You can come back. But I promise you, you're going to regret it. Chase your dream. Get after it. I came too far. You've come too far with, going to acting school and all that and your dream. Keep going after it. And, man, those words have really stuck with me. And, everything I do is for my father, for my mother, my parents. I'm not gonna let them down. I'm not gonna let my ancestors down, and I'm not gonna let the future generation of Latinos in cinema.
And you're doing an incredible job at that now. I mean, it's landing you in a role that is internationally, I mean, people know this brand. And speaking of the character of Nero, like, I love the third act sequence with you and the Pegasus Knight just going at it. So can you kind of talk about working with Andy Cheng? I mean, him as a stunt coordinator, he's a legend. Rush Hour 2, Shang-Chi.
Andy's a great guy, and Man, and like you said, he's worked with legends, right? Jackie Chan, I mean, one of the most iconic action stars. Andy's a lot of fun, man. Andy can go all night doing stunt choreography, being on set, directing the the second unit, and all the action stuff, and it'll be like a Friday night. And the next day, Andy will be like, "All right, so where are we going out to?" I'm like, "Andy, I'm going to sleep. I wanna rest." Andy he's got so much energy. He's so youthful, and man, I hope I get to have that much energy when I get a little older.
Of course, and if there's a sequel, maybe you work with him again.
100%. I would love to work with him.
Speaking of the sequel, though, I know the door was open a little bit for your character to come back, right? So in the sequel, if there is a sequel, what would you like to see in terms of Nero as a character, in terms of his evolution and his growth?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what I really want to see in the sequel is maybe a little flashback to his past. I mean, if you watch the original anime, you see him when he's training on I think it's called Death Island. Could be wrong. But when he's training on this island with his instructor, right, with his trainer, he watches the love of his life get murdered, Esmeralda, right? He watches her get murdered, which turns him into the Phoenix Knight. But before that, he had his little brother get taken away from him. He's separated from his little brother. So, I mean, he's been through so much trauma. These two scenarios alone are enough to make anybody a villain, right? So I want to kind of include that. If we do a sequel, I want to kind of see a little flashback of that, and then just dive into the story, alongside Mackenyu and Madison.
I love that. Well, thank you so much again, Diego, for your time, honestly, and I can't wait to see what God does with you in the rest of your career, man.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that a lot.
Praying for you, man.